Hi, I'm Richie DeMarco here for ConstructingYourBrand.com, and I'm here with Denise Butchko. Hey, Denise,
Hey, Richie.
how's it going? Today we are going to discuss email marketing and specifically subject lines gone wrong. Um, Denise and I were discussing this before the call, and boy, was that a heated conversation.
Because people are so, first of all, unless you are on a remote island with no internet connection, you see subject lines every day in your inbox, right?
Oh, I think the average person gets like 150 emails a day.
So, lot of subject lines. What do you open? Which ones do you open, Richie DeMarco?
Do you want me to tell you the truth?
No, I want you to
No.
lie.
Um, so the the ones with
Spill your guts. It's
no,
only you and me. No worries.
no the of course it's the engaging subject lines. The ones that actually pique my interest. Whether it's fear of missing out, if it's something I'm interested in. Um, it's to your point, Denise, that I know you're going to be making any second. It's not the one that says, buy my product here. It's not my newsletter, this week's newsletter. It's something that I think is going to interest me.
Exactly. And I think what you alluded to, so for people who well, we wanted to have our viewers feel a little bit comfortable, so we want to say that statistically we're 100% confident that over 51%, which would be the majority of you watching, aren't doing email marketing at all for yourself. And so you're not doing it, you're in the majority, great, that's a comfort. But then you're taking this approach like, okay, I'm going to start doing it, and I'm going to take my newsletter, which you used to print back in 1995, and you're going to just translate it to a digital format, and you're going to send it out 4 times a year, and you think people care? People remember? You put a ton of time into it, and then you send me a subject line that says spring 2015 newsletter.
Yeah, and I can actually speak from experience on that. So I've been doing the ACSP newsletter for I don't know the last year and a half, and initially that's what we started with, which was basically a print newsletter that we turned digital. So there was 4 or 5 articles in there, and the subject line was news April newsletter 2015 or June newsletter 2015, and the click-through rates, the response, it was a lot lower to as opposed to what I'm doing now, which is actually easier for me. It's
Mhm.
1 or 2 call to actions. It's last week I just did one that was about what the ACSP is working on. So it basically said, this is what we're working on. I was able to write it up in 25 minutes, a half hour. I dropped it into the template, and the subject line was, this is what we're working on. So if you are interested in the ACSP, if you have an interest in what's going on in your industry, you'll click on it. And like I said, just from that one email, the user interaction, the engagement. I actually even received emails where people responded to the I don't want to call it a newsletter, but the email marketing piece, and people asked me questions based on what they had just read, and that's always a great sign for a newsletter or an email marketing piece.
Yeah, it's a gold mine. And so what there really is, it's not just a, oh, let's throw out, yes, it's our newsletter, check, we're done with that, yay. There's very skilled and talented people who spend a lot of energy figuring out and testing subject lines. But if you're not going to go to quite that extent, which we're not saying you have to, then at least think about what would be interesting to the target that you're sending this email to. If I'm sending something out about closet design, then an example, I know people in this industry have kind of an interest in, wow, she teaches classes. Oh, now she's doing a consumer guide. So I just used that right in the subject line and got double-digit open rates and sold a bunch of books. So it's the kinds of things that relate to people individually. And you said it really well, so I'll let you say it again about relevancy, timeliness, personal, how it's important to you.
Well, yeah. So when there are a couple of newsletters that I actually enjoy getting, and those are the ones that first of all, those are the ones that when they come in, it's gifts for Mother's Day, gifts for Father's Day. It's something based on what's going on right now, what's happening in my life right now. Also, I enjoy the ones that open up and things to do in Manhattan this weekend, or what's going on in my neighborhood. I'm very specific, very localized marketing, what's going on, and it's very easy to keep things like that fresh. You said, Denise, working with your local businesses. I think that's a great idea. The internet is taking more and more business from you, and it's getting a little bit harder to do business. So if you can team up with a couple of your local guys and just, report what's going on in your neighborhood or what to do the weekend activities, especially now with all of these, my wife is dying to figure out what to do with kids, now that school's out. So if there was a newsletter going around that said, what you can do this week with the kids or what's going on at the park or the local events, I'm sure that'll get a ton of opens.
Yeah, because it's relevant to them. So it's of the minute, what's going on with you now. And you may or may not know what's totally going on with your customer at the minute, but part of you should know. Another one that went out from HubSpot. Now, HubSpot sends out tons of emails, but why this one stuck out to me in particular is because a couple days ago, Gmail launches a feature that you can unsend emails. Well, who doesn't have an interest in that? And so they quickly put together an email and sent out that with the subject line. So if you didn't catch it on the news or one of the morning shows, you could catch it in your inbox. Totally relevant, totally interesting. So it's, as you said, that fear of missing out if something's going on that you don't know about, if something is important to you. So always, 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 always think about what your reader, what your customer wants from you, not what you want to give them. Isn't that the key to a happy marriage anyway?
And that is the most important. That's the most important thing. Just look at, and maybe the key to a happy marriage too, probably. My wife is always right. But no, just don't tell a customer the customer doesn't care about your product or what you want to tell them. They might care about your product if it's going to solve a problem for them. They care more about what's going on in their world. And the whole point of us telling you to send emails in this fashion is that this way they are opening your email. It is keeping you connected to that client. So they might not buy a closet now, but maybe they'll recommend you to a friend, but they'll know that you stay top of mind. That's the whole point of this.
Yes, and not in an annoying way, and not in it's your newsletter, let me just delete it, because I'm not going to take even a tenth of the amount of time to read it as you took to create the thing. So relevancy, currency, fear of missing out, which we talked about. I think those kind of sum it up.
Absolutely. And just a sidebar here, if you're not taking customers' email addresses, start doing it. Whether you're going to create a newsletter or not tomorrow, or whether you're going to start email marketing tomorrow or not, just be sure you're gathering that information so that when the time does come, you have that info on hand ready to go.
Absolutely. Biggest asset to your business is not necessarily the machines in your shop. It's the intellectual property and the email list.
There you go. And I think we've pretty much beaten up email lists and subject lines to an end, unless you have anything else to add, Denise. Otherwise, we'll sign off and keep it short and simple, like our perfect subject lines.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we'll do. See you later, Richie.
See you later. Bye, Denise.